Good day, folks, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at my first foray into the deluxe size class of the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise line. This time we're taking a look at Bumblebee. First, let's take a look at the packaging. Bumblebee comes packaged in his alt mode on a traditional deluxe sized card. The larger area of the card provides an opportunity to show off this dynamic image of Bumblebee along with a large Autobot logo. The back side of the card provides your traditional bio paragraph along with images of the toy in robot and car mode. There's also artwork advertising Transformers Prime. The tech specs can be found on one side of the packaging, and on the other side you can see that the Deluxe series is also numbered, just like the Voyager series is. Now let's take a look at Bumblebee in his car mode. Now, for the most part, this car looks like he's pretty accurate to the show model. There's nothing too fancy about the car mode. There's only one real feature, and it's this little port on top, which allows you to mount his guns onto the hood of his car. There are two problems though with the car mode. The first off is the fact that they've used too much clear plastic again. One of the things I hate is when they use so much clear plastic and then they have to paint over it. What ends up happening then is you get these two different tones of yellow. And we've seen this on several movie Bumblebees, we've seen it on other toys, and to me it just looks like a redneck paint job. The other issue I have is this hood piece, and you see it doesn't really lock into place, and in fact it's a little springy and just doesn't fit quite right. On its own, I would say that this Bumblebee doesn't have too bad of an alt mode. Unfortunately, I have this one to compare to. And when you put the first edition Bumblebee next to the RiD Bumblebee, you see some very noticeable differences. Start off in the front here. You can see lack of paint apps. The first edition Bumblebee has the Autobot symbol on the front. It's got turn indicators that are painted on, which you have none of that on this. You flip around to the back side again. No paint apps for the tail lights on the RiD version, but you do have some nice painted tail lights on the first edition version. The other thing you can see is that the first edition version is a little bit bigger than the RiD version. So we got a little bit more plastic for our money when we bought the first edition one. Now let's take a look at Bumblebee's transformation. Now, there really is not a whole lot to this. There's his legs. Flip open the doors. Move his arms down. Flip the roof down. Pop the automorph. And there he is. That's Bumblebee's transformation right there. Now, one thing I've noticed, this, like I said, there's an automorph here, similar to what we've seen with the movie line toys. And it's not a clean automorph on mine, at least. There is kind of a catching point in there where it feels like, right about in here, it feels like I'm going to pop something loose or a strip of gear. I haven't heard of any cases of people stripping the gears yet. I have heard of people with the gears where it seemed like something was off by a cog. So that might be something you want to watch out for. Now let's take a look at Bumblebee's robot mode. Now, I've got several problems with this robot mode. First off is really, there are only two colors of plastic, so it doesn't seem like there's a lot of contrast, and there's a lot of smooth surfaces, like looking at the shoulders here, where they could have done even some panel lighting might have helped break it up just a little bit. but as it is, he seems very plain, almost unfinished. You've also got visible gearing mechanism here, besides this big tab sticking up behind Bumblebee's head. And to be honest, this I think could have been fixed pretty easily. If they had put a hinge right in here, this piece could have folded back, and you know, a big issue right there would have just disappeared. Another issue I have with this design is the face. First off, when you have this silver on this bright yellow, it doesn't contrast enough, which I think is one of the reasons why I like the darker color on the first edition a little bit better, which we'll do a comparison here in a little bit. But the other issue I have is you can see where the clear blue plastic is for the light piping. When you look at it head on, it looks fine. But the thing is, that blue plastic is sunken in quite a bit. So as soon as you start getting off angle, his eyes disappear and appear sunken in. And I think this gives it almost, when you add that with the already angry eyebrows, just gives him an even creepier, angry look to him. And if you're going to display this toy, you want to make sure it's not visible from the side, because essentially he's hollow in here, so he looks a little bit more substantial when you're looking at him face on, but yeah, when he turns to the side, he disappears. So here we have side by side the Robots in Disguise version and the first edition version. And I think it's pretty clear how much difference a little bit of paint application and a little bit of contrasting colors can make here. While the RiD version, it's got a lot of unbroken yellow, smooth surfaces without panel lines. You can see little bits here where we have cutout areas that allow darker plastics to show through. You've got extra paint applications here and here. You've got two different colors of gray plastic here. All of that makes it look just a little bit better. Besides the fact that the RiD version has this tab and the backpack going on, which the first edition doesn't. While my first edition Bumblebee is in no danger of being replaced on the shelf, there is one toy of mine that this Bumblebee might compete with. This guy. They're both quick and fun to transform, but when it comes to accuracy, they're about on par. For me, the RiD Bumblebee falls flat. While he's fun to play around with for a little while, if you're looking for a Transformers Prime Bumblebee to put on your display shelf, go find yourself the first edition version.